Tradition of all girl groups, people like the Supremes, the Shangri-Las, that dates right back to the 50s. Here's their big hit from a few years. Venus from Bananarama, and that's when they were still a threesome, now slimmed down to two. They're here today, Karen and Sarah. Welcome to the programme. Do you like watching all that old stuff?
It's very amusing.
Yeah.
We've actually got a compilation of all our stuff. I think the old TVs are the best. The swaying from side to side with embarrassment.
Do you have evenings when just the two of you sit down and watch them all and have a good old laugh?
They tend to come out when sort of friends insist on showing new friends maybe how dreadful we used to be. We try and be a little selective. I'm particularly selective. I won't let her put certain things on.
And would you let your sons watch any of them?
He's not really that interested.
Do you think it's all a bit dull?
Surprise?
No, he just sort of knows it's my job, and so it doesn't sort of faze him in any way. He gets excited because I've said hello to him a few times on TV.
And that's the best thing about
Yeah.
it. Now, they're just the two of you at the moment. What happened to Jackie?
I think it just ran its natural course. She was with us for 3 years, and I think we'd hoped she'd become more involved, but behind the scenes she wasn't really involved in songwriting or videos or decision-making, and we just felt it was kind of silly to continue as someone just as a paid performer, which she felt the same as well. And so
I suppose it made a difference because she hadn't been there, sort of, because you two knew each other at the age of 13.
And also
you?
with Siobhan, we went to like college and school together, so you know we grew up together and started the group together. With Jackie, she had none of the history, and people always referred to her as like the new girl in the group. So.
And this was after like 2.5 years or something. It was like, so Jackie, you're the new girl. How do you feel? And you know, it was. I think maybe she was fighting a losing battle on that front.
Did you always think that you'd end up doing something like this when you were at school?
Well, we used to pretend a lot, didn't we? We used to make tapes. I remember making Evergreen was one of our early tapes.
What, in the bedroom or something?
Sing along with Babs.
And didn't you learn a Cockney accent off a David Essex single?
Well, we were big fans of David when we were about 11, I stress that.
I was a big fan of David myself, I have to say.
Well, I think
we just thought it was cool to have, you know, David's accent rather than a kind of West Country accent. So we, learnt to say castle instead of castle.
Everyone at school thought we were trying to be posh.
Yeah. Were you very different from everybody else that was at school with you?
Yeah.
I think we can say, that we were. We were known as sort of the one-earring gang because we all wore one earring and supposedly caused a lot of trouble, but we really didn't.
When you look at people like Danny Minogue today, who were doing really the same sort of thing, I mean, she's doing the same sort of thing now as you were, do you see a big difference?
I just think they've got a lot more training. They're kind of, I know she comes from like stage school, so they're kind of prepared for it. I think with us, we were just like teenagers who came from the street and from clubs and just had no idea when the red light came on that you were supposed to sing into it. We just giggled and laughed, and it was very much, trial and error with us, more innocent.
Do you find you're taken a lot more seriously these days? Because you were dismissed as sort of, not bimbos, but that sort of, just a girly group.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, in the first couple of years, we didn't care because we were just having too much fun. And then we started trying to answer back at our critics. And it just sounds like you're moaning, and it doesn't really get you anywhere. And it was strange because it seemed like once we decided we didn't care what people thought, their attitudes seemed to change. And I think for the sheer fact we've been going for 10 years now, we get afforded a certain amount of respect.
And also have a lot of control over what you do too.
Yeah.
Have you always tried to maintain that?
Yes, we've always tried to maintain too much control in a way, I think, to the point where sometimes it's been difficult to work with managers and people who try and take that away from you.
Do you still see yourselves going for years and years to come?
It's very difficult to say.
Yeah, I mean, we never thought it would last 10 years, so I can't really see it lasting another 10 years, but
you never know. Well, listen, thank you very much for joining us today. And Karen and Sarah are now about to perform their new single, Moving On.
Bananarama.